What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Mr. Business here, and I got a new video for you. I've been away for a little bit enjoying the holidays with my kids, so hopefully everybody got to do the same and eat a whole bunch of turkey. Now that that's over with, it's time to jump into the holidays because, as you know, a lot of people are getting ready for Christmas and things like that. And what I wanted to give to you all today was 5 ways that you can capitalize on the upcoming holidays, especially if you're one of those people who spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on gifts and presents. Here I'm going to talk about some side hustles you can do, 5 to be exact, that you can go and start right now and start bringing in a little bit of extra income. So jumping right into my video, here we go. We're going to be talking about DoorDash. Um, so everyone probably heard of DoorDash or Grubhub. I signed up for Grubhub. I didn't do DoorDash myself, but the reason why I'm referring DoorDash is because between all of the apps that deliver food, right now DoorDash is the number one food delivery service in the United States. So if you're gonna do one, you might as well pick the best. Now, with each of these, I'm going to be bringing up. They all going to have different requirements, so I'm going to try to break them down as concise as possible, and just make sure you do your own due diligence because some of these requirements will vary by state. Now with DoorDash, this one is very simple to get onto. It doesn't cost you anything. None of these apps cost you anything to sign up for. The first one here, like I said, with DoorDash, it's going to require that you be at least 18 years or older. And depending on the city, you can get by with just a scooter or a bicycle. So you don't even need a car if you're in one of those major cities. But if you're out in the boonies like myself, of course, you're going to need a vehicle to get around and make those deliveries. Now, the third thing you're going to need is documentation because obviously they have to prove that you are who you say you are. So you're going to make sure you need a driver's license. Well, it just says driver's license number, so I don't know if it's going to require you to upload the photo or not. But typically, these sites will require you to upload a front and back photo of your ID and things like that, so they can make sure you are who you are. You will need a social security number if you're in the U.S. I don't know if how many other countries they may operate in, but as far as the U.S. go, you definitely need a social security number. And of course, you need to consent to a background check. So I don't know how in depth they do, but I'm certain they want to make sure you're not some whack job that's trying to get to people's addresses and do weird stuff. So anyway, with that being said, like I said, that is going to be my one on the list at number 5. Now I'm only listing these in that order because I'm basing on the amount of money you make. So with Grubhub, like I said, I haven't did DoorDash, but I assume they're going to be pretty much similar to the operating the same way, where they're going to peak during the lunch and dinner hours, and of course outside of that it will possibly trickle down, so you're not going to be as busy. And these, like I said, you can make decent money, but they're not going to be replacing your day job. But like I said, it's a good extra cushion to add a little holiday spending, so you don't have to spend any money out of your pocket. Now moving to number 4, and of course you can see the ones I got up here ready to go here, is we're going to talk about Lyft. Now, some of y'all may have Lyft in your area, may have seen Lyft, especially if you're in a congested city. These types of services, people who do these type of services make pretty good money doing this because not only are you going to get paid through the app, you also have the potential to receive additional tips from your passengers. Now, with this, the requirements will vary by state. So, based on where I'm at here in Minnesota, we're gonna go off of Minneapolis just to give you a kind of a baseline. But in that area, there's where you would submit your city that you're going to be driving in, and then it will bring you to this page where it will show you the basic requirements you're going to need to in order to drive for them as a 1099 or independent contractor. So obviously, there's vehicle requirements for each of them. So we're going to talk about the vehicle requirements, of course, and then there's going to be driver requirements, and of course, in the documentation and emblem requirements. So anyway, moving right into the vehicle requirements. If you have a 2007 or newer, and it has less than 150,000 miles on it, it does require 4 doors. It needs to seat at least 5 people, including yourself. It can be a taxi, a limo, a stretch limo, or a non-express drive rental vehicle. That's interesting. Um, and where are we at? Okay, sorry. Not not titled as a salvage, non-repairable, rebuilt, or any other equivalent classification. So as long as it meets these requirements, of course, this is for Minnesota. Like I said, it will vary. Make sure you check in your state. But as long as you meet these minimum requirements, you're pretty much good to go. You will have to make sure you do have insurance, of course. But like I said, these programs like Lyft and Uber as well too, they do have a program where they can also rent you out a vehicle. But of course, it's going to be limited on the mileage and things like that. But they will offer you a vehicle if you don't have your own or you don't want to use your own. But as far as the driver requirements, they do want to make sure you're at least 25 years old, 25 years or older. Obviously, you're going to make sure you have a valid driver's license. And I guess for Minnesota, you could be a Wisconsin or Minnesota driver's license. Um, where we at? You want to pass a driver screening, um, which reviews your driving history and your criminal background. So I'm assuming that's going to take 2 to 3 days. Typically, if they're fast, they can be done in 2 or 3 days and have you up and running. Of course, you're going to need a smartphone, whether it's iPhone or Android, and you got to make sure it's at least new enough to run the app, the Lyft app, in order to do it. Here's some documentation. Of course, you're going to need a photocopy of your ID. Your vehicle registration, you're going to have to submit to them to make sure that you are the owner and operator of the vehicle that you are using. I don't think that's a requirement, actually. Let me take that back. You do have to show the registration so they know the vehicle that is going to be used on their services. Um, let's see, and of course, personal vehicle insurance, which I already covered, and it will require a vehicle inspection. Again, this is Minnesota based, so it may vary from your state to state. So make sure you do your own due diligence and moving right along. And since I've already brought up Lyft, we are going to be talking about Uber, which I think Uber is probably the one I see most often. So I'm jumping right into the requirements here, and of course, Uber is going to be the same way, where the requirements are going to vary state by state. Obviously, because you're going to be transporting people, but there are some similarities and some basics. So here, of course, you got to make sure you meet the minimum age requirement, which is 25 years old, and it says you have to have at least 1 year of licensed driving experience. So hopefully you have at least 1 year by the age of 25. Of course, it has to be valid. It needs to be a four-door vehicle. A vehicle more than 10 years old must have less than 150,000 miles. So it can be older than 10 years as long as it has less than 150,000 miles on it. A vehicle inspection must be performed by a city-approved inspector, right? So required documentation, U.S. driver's license, of course. So it doesn't even say you have to have one for a specific state, or maybe you will, but it all depends. Proof of residency in your city or state or province. Proof of insurance for the vehicle. Of course, if you plan on using your own vehicle, again, if you're using like a vehicle through their program, I think they provide insurance, but I'm not 100% certain. But you'll have to, of course, go through them and find that out. You will need a photo, of course, of your driver's license so they know you are who you say you are. And of course, and then you got to go through driver screening where they check your background, your driving record, and your criminal history, just like Lyft as well. Moving on to number 4. Okay, we are going to be talking about something different because maybe you don't want to be delivering food like DoorDash. You don't want to even deal with people like Lyft and Uber because you could be delivering driving people to and from bars and stuff like that, and you have to deal with that obnoxiousness. You probably seen plenty of YouTube channels out there with obnoxious passengers when you as a driver. Maybe that's not your cup of tea. So these last two are going to be special ones, and one I've already signed up for, and I'm actually going to be signing up for both of these next two I'm talking about here. So the next one on the list here, we're going to be talking about CB Driver. I'm already signed up for this one. Now this one is a good one because this one, not only you don't have to deal with people as far as passengers go, you don't have to deal with food. Is you're going to be just hauling different types of freight and things like that. So you can pick up routes as an independent contractor, so you won't work directly for the company. So you will have your own requirements you have to adhere to, and you pretty much can kind of jump on any of these contracts that you see. And on this list here is just showing you some of the main ones, some of the more recent ones, and they're all over the U.S. So when you come over to the site, cbdriver.com, the first thing you want to do is you want to come over here to the driver resources. Hopefully I did. Oh, no, 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 no. Why is that's not what I meant to do? But anyway, but if you scroll down to the bottom of here, you can kind of see most of the cities that they're going to have contracts in. And of course, since I'm in Minnesota, we're going to take a look at Minneapolis. So let's see what we got here. So what you do is when you come to your city, maybe you're in whatever city you come to, right? The contracts will be listed here. You can sort by distance, vehicle type. If you have a certain type of vehicle, you don't want to be restricted by it, experience, city, or whatever. So for this one, I'm just going to pick the first one here. It says better truck shift driver. So they look for a shift driver, of course, the independent contractor. Any vehicle will work. It's for Minneapolis, and it says it's $25 an hour. So you can click here, view details. Keep in mind they all should say independent contractor. Like I said, because you're not an employee, you will be your own boss. And like I said, so this requires any experience, no special requirements, any vehicle. So it's pretty much open to just about anything. So like I said, I'm going to skip through a little bit of this, but I want to get to the requirements. The one thing I wanted to point out so you can see is whatever they are paying you for, like these flat rates here, is saying even if you finish early. So if it's if they pay you for a 4-hour route and you get done in 3 hours, you still get paid for the 4 hours. So just keep that in mind. And most of these routes are going to be done, especially if you're familiar with the area, you're going to be done relatively sooner than what the allotted time is. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, you will have to, like I said, you will be a 1099. So you will be working for yourself. Okay, here are some of the requirements here. You got to be 21 years old. Obviously, your vehicle must be working. You need a valid driver's license, proof of insurance, valid vehicle registration. You again, background check, the same as before. You got to have an iPhone or an Android smartphone. Obviously, a charger, because you're probably going to need that. You definitely don't want your phone to die in the middle of a route. That's no good for them and for you, for your reputation. Okay, so be computer literate and able to operate a smartphone or a GPS device with a scanner. Because obviously a lot of these apps now, when you're delivering any type of packages, you're going to be scanning barcodes and things like that and uploading photos, right, for proof of delivery. Of course, you got to be respectful to everyone, because not only are you representing yourself, but when you're out there making these deliveries, you're going to be representing whatever company you are picking up and dropping off to and from. Of course, you want to take care of the packages and not be kicking them down the hallways like if you remember from the Ace Ventura movie a long time ago. Dating myself, but anyway, so this is some of the basics. Of course, residing within 20 to 30 miles from the pickup location is recommended, but it's not required. So, like I said, if I'm outside of the 20, 30 miles, I can still work in whatever city. So that is, for me, is a huge plus, because if you want to work in a different city, you can drive out there early that morning, get in the area, and then sign up for a route, so you're there and you can deliver whatever. So in my case, I can go to St. Cloud or Minneapolis if I wanted to, assuming there's one in St. Cloud. But anyway, like I say, you will have to go through the job requirements and the sign up individually based on the route you're going to be selecting. And again, it's free to join. I already joined this, and I would say this is a good way to make some additional money. And you typically have to deal with less issues you don't have to worry about dealing with people's food or people for that matter. You just be picking up, dropping off packages. And I saved the best for last, because this one, I was doing some digging and I just found this one today. And I had to do some more digging to make sure it was valid. But Bungie.com, and this one arguably it has the biggest potential to make the most money and could potentially replace your 9 to 5 if you so choose to do so. So what they claim on their website here is that they are able to pay you up to $45 an hour on average based on the jobs you do. So, of course, let's take a look at some of the services that they do offer. So, this is potentially what you could be doing your deliveries for. You can be doing store deliveries. As you can see, like the guy right here with his ratchet straps picking up something from Lowe's or Home Depot or something. You could be doing Craigslist pickups, large item deliveries. You could be doing moving for apartments, college dorms, things like that, garages, appliance transportation. Someone needs a refrigerator move. So it will require a little bit of heavier lifting than some of the other ones, but like I said, with a bigger payout, I think is well justified. You could be doing some storage hauling, estate sale hauling, junk removal, which is big around the holidays, especially. Donation drop offs like Goodwill, Salvation Armies, and homeless shelters, things like that. If you ever seen any of those, and here are some of the benefits. Or not correct myself, it's $40 an hour. But anyway, says so. Like I say, you use Bungie, you could get set up with a schedule right away. And you can pretty much pick up and go as you want because, like I said, you're going to make your own hours and you're going to work when you want to. And like I said, and you can earn up to $40 an hour driving for them. So, of course, there's some testimonials here, but again, like all of these require your own vehicle, and there are some requirements here. Let me just get over to let's go to Drive with Us. Should be able to jump right into the requirements. Right here. So look, okay, so yes, you need to be 21 years old. You need to be able to lift and carry up to 125 pounds. I'm certain if you have like a dolly or something like that, that could probably make up for that weight if that's a little much for you. Your vehicle only needs to be a 97 or newer, and I'm certain it's going to need to be in good working condition and safe. Your vehicle needs to be a pickup truck, cargo or sprinter van, or SUV with a trailer. So if you meet all of these requirements, you can jump right into applying, fill out the driver's registration, and go from there. So I wanted to drop that last, so hopefully I brought you all some value. If you like what you heard, maybe you want to try some of these out. Maybe you have tried some of these out. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you think, your opinions, your experience with this, and if I provided you any value, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the Business Nation so you too can stay one step ahead. And remember, success moves in silence. I hope everybody has a happy Monday, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.